Well, it got kind of interesting in 2006 when they kept you. They drafted Brody Croyle, and then the first game of the year, and I'll never forget. I was there for that one where Trent got hurt against the Bengals with that concussion. Pretty scary hit. Obviously, you end up going in, and the Chiefs don't end up winning that game. The following week, a low scoring one, but after that, man, you guys really did a number on the San Francisco 49ers in that game. I'll never forget, all the stuff on offense, defense, and Dante Hall had his punt return touchdown, and he had not had one of those in a while. So that was good to see. What was that 2006 season like for you? Going 5-2 after that 0-2 start to the season, having the second highest passer rating behind Peyton Manning. What was that season like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it truly was a magical season. You hang around long enough in the league, and you're kind of unsure about yourself. You hadn't played
Yeah.
really any significant time since the '99 season. I played a couple games in 2000. Like I said, didn't do anything in '04 and '05 with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, at that point, you're getting older, and you're wondering, God, can I still do this? And had an unbelievable supporting cast when I got that opportunity. I mean, turning around, handing the ball to Larry Johnson, who ran for I think 2,000 yards that year. And then you fake it to him, and you pop up, and you got Tony Gonzalez, the greatest tight end in NFL history for my money, running down the seam. And yeah, it was a great opportunity to play on a great team. Will Shields, Casey Wigman, these offensive linemen, some of the greatest to ever play. So on a really good team, and we had a really good game plan. And honest to God, like I was just older. And Terry Shea was my quarterback coach. And this guy, there were a lot of people at that time that maybe don't quite believe in you in the building. You're older, when they want to play the young guy, the draft pick. Terry believed in me. And honest to God, I didn't want to let him down. That dude was in the building at like 4:30 a.m. or would leave at 11 at night. And man, this guy had this thing called the winning edge, about 10 pages of notes he'd give to me every Saturday morning before Sunday kickoff. And we just had everything dialed in. And so from a game plan standpoint, I felt really comfortable out there. And I tell everybody, if I'd had to play my first 2 years in Kansas City in that offense, which, I was coming from New England where we had like 60 plays, maybe 4 or 5 run plays. They were check with me's and da da da. I came to Kansas City, and I'm not lying. They had 27 different protections and 350 plays like on a call sheet ready to go for game day. And I'm like, man, if I have to play here in '04, like there's no chance. Like it was sophisticated. It was, the greatest show on turf. It was a lot of bit of everything, but it was Al Saunders calling the plays at that time. And it was too much for a guy, even who'd been in the league all those years, coming there trying to learn it overnight. And really, I was a third string guy, so I wouldn't get many reps. But by '06, Mike Solari was the new coordinator. Terry worked with me. We toned it down a little bit. It was still a lot of information, but I felt really comfortable, and I loved that offense. Had a lot of fun, a lot of success that year. And if I'm being candid and being honest, it was a crying shame in '07 that they got rid of Terry. Herm Edwards, wanted his guy in there, and his coach Dick Curl coaching the position. Dick, a good guy, but for me and my money, Terry Shea was my guy, and we had so much success in '06. I thought it was crazy that they got rid of him. So anyway, there's some good stuff for radio or TV or whatever we're doing that I probably really never said, publicly.
Very cool. No, I mean, I still remember that season because when the starting quarterback goes down, especially that early in the season, you kind of just question, what's going on. And I think fans were just so excited to see what you did that year. I know Trent ended up coming back, which I kind of want to touch on in a moment, but I remember he got hurt again in that week 17, essentially a playoff game against Jacksonville, and you came back. Larry had a nice run. You had a nice deep pass to Eddie Kennison. I'm like, oh man, we kind of missed this because Trent had been struggling for a while, and Herm kept getting asked, excuse me, is Damon going to come back? And apparently, I think he might have said even in that playoff game that maybe he'll consider the switch, but he never did. Was it frustrating because you had played so great, and Trent, and we all love Trent. He's still part of the team today doing the preseason games. But was it frustrating not getting put back out on the field, considering you were doing really well that year?
Yeah, for sure. But I understood. It wasn't like I was the young rookie. I was 34, whatever years old, that was old back then. 20 years ago in pro football, you're still hanging around in your mid 30s. Had I been like a young, draft pick, I think they probably would have stuck with. But Trent was the captain of our team, great dude. If I'd have been in that situation, like, God, I sure as hell would have hoped, like, I'd have got my job back. Where like the New England one is like, yeah, Bledsoe was the highest paid guy, and everyone kind of thought it was crazy to play Brady, but he was kind of the young guy, and let's ride the young, So where I was the old guy, I wasn't the future of Chiefs football. I don't think. I think Herm, was kept looking for that guy, where it was
Yeah.
hoping it was Brody. Yeah, it was a bummer. Sure, we all want to play, but Trent is my boy. And I'd have hoped if the roles were reversed that Herm would have stuck with me. But no doubt about it, I'm not going to sit here as a competitor and say that, that it was great because it's up. Yeah, sure, I wanted to be out there. I was hot. We were on a run. Let's keep it rolling. But Herm made that decision, and I get it.
How tough was that playoff loss against the Colts? Because, the Chiefs had lost to the Colts a couple of years before, in that no punt game. I know you were not on the team back then, but, they were like the worst rush defense in the NFL, and people thought Larry was going to have a big game and didn't even come close to that. The offense wasn't really in sync. How frustrating was it just that whole postseason game? Because that was hard to watch as a fan.
Yeah, God, I barely remember the game, to be honest with you. I do remember that, they had those guys coming off the edge, Dwight Freeney, I think,
Yeah.
and Travis Mathat, maybe a couple guys. They were
They
little
roughed
guys,
Memphis.
yeah, and they just played with leverage, and they were just running around our tackles all day. And it's tough always on the road in playoff games, hostile environment in a dome. And you're right. We couldn't get anything going offensively. It was just one of those ugly games, and I've been a part of those road ugly playoff games, on other teams as well. So yeah, it was a tough finish to a season. I think that did have some promise at times.